Hi, everybody. I'm Candid Frank Stanisci of Candid Frank Live. When you'll find us airing our views here on the Spanglish World Network on Zingo TV, channel 250. Please remember to download the Zingo TV app at the respective app stores for iOS and Android devices. While you download, make sure you rate and leave a comment. Both apps are absolutely free. Zingo TV is available on Google, Chromecast, Amazon Fire TV sticks, Roku sticks, and all smart TVs 2016 forward. And you can also follow me on Candid Frank on YouTube. Joining me now, as usual, is Aaron William Freeland. I am much better. I could not talk for more than, even breathing, I'd start coughing. It was just, I don't know. I know some people who said they've had it too. And it has been, well, actually, Gary has it. The young man that I do. Where did you go? You just disappeared on me, Aaron.
Oh, I'm still here, Frank.
No, the screen went away from me. There's the cough. You disappeared, so now I can't look at you.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
For me, I like making eye contact, even though
I might be tucked behind another window.
No, you're not behind another window. You're actually, how you have two screens?
Yeah.
Well, I don't have the other screen up, but
interesting.
The computer thinks it's there. So I was pulling it to the corner and I went right by. So. I tried bringing it over. But I might screw things up. So I'll just leave it alone, and I won't touch it, and I'll let it be what it is, and then we'll be able to do what we got to do. I bought a new computer, and it's smaller, but it has, it's a little more up to date, and I'm just trying to get it fired up completely. So I'm still using the old computer right now, but. Eventually, I'll have the new one going, and they moved forward. Just for you folks at home who are concerned about Windows 10 and it not being serviced anymore, they're talking now. I think they said November 2025. They'll be servicing 10. It was supposed to be June of this coming year.
I guess there weren't enough people that decided to adopt the new OS that they had to continue to service it.
Well, it hasn't received rave reviews.
Well, that would do it.
Right? That's my assumption, because I've seen some reviews that suggest that it's a step down from Windows 10. And we've seen this before. If you remember Windows XP and was it XP that was better? What was the one after it? Or was it XP that was problematic?
XP was a nightmare.
Right?
Yeah.
There you go. And you went from Windows 95. ME was terrible too.
Yeah, ME was not a lot of fun. 95 was all right. Windows 2000 was sort of meh.
But they really, XP became something of a bit of a nightmare. Anyway, so what's happening now is basically, for those of you that have computers that can operate Windows 10, but may not be able to operate Windows 11, which will eventually be, I guess what they've done is they basically said, we got to get this running better than Windows 10, because not good for business if you're saying, hey, join us on an upgrade that'll bring you down.
Yeah, honestly, the way that everything's been done and the way that everything's been rolled out, it's a very, very low bar that they have to clear, and they just seem unable to do it. So
it's just unbelievable. But the story that I heard, and the reason that they, Windows 11, the main purpose for Windows 11 is to get inside our information, to have more control over our computers, and also be able to overcome some maybe barriers that we put up. And this is something that I heard, but this is probably BS. But you know how it is. People and conspiracies.
We do like them.
But why wouldn't you think that maybe Microsoft and some other people on the internet they are maybe not exactly totally interested in our best interests?
I mean,
I hope Microsoft's not watching.
Oh, they're everywhere. Don't worry about it. We'll be fine.
You sure? Okay, let's go to curling. Let's go to curling. Nova Scotia wins Canadian Senior Men's Curling Championship.
Yeah, so this is an event that's been going on for the past week, and not a lot of people know about it, unfortunately. But that's just the way it sort of goes. It's the unsung sport in Canada There was a Nova Scotia team that was skipped by Paul Fleming that have actually won the Canadian Senior Men's Curling Championship in Vernon, BC. Fleming and his teammates Peter Burgess, Marty Gavin, and Chris Corncelli defeated Saskatchewan's Bruce Corty 4-3 in the finals on Saturday. They now advance to the World Championships, which are going to be played in April in Sweden. This is only the second Canadian senior men's title for a Nova Scotia team. The first was the first since 2014 when Alan O'Leary won in Yellowknife. So this is good to see that we're sending a team to the finals. I'm happy about that. Hopefully, it'll mean a return to curling prominence in the near future.
Oh my goodness! I can't get the computer on the other TV so I can salvage the bring you into focus, if you will. Okay, Shohei Ohtani was rumored to be on an airplane coming to Toronto, which, when you connect those dots, says, "Oh my God, Shohei Ohtani is going to be a Toronto Blue Jay." But,
yeah, unfortunately, it appears John Morosi was fed some bad information when it came to that sort of thing. He managed to get two separate fan bases in a bit of a tizzy. Not to mention the Dodgers organization, because as far as they knew, Shohei wasn't really talking to anybody else, and they were currently still talking to him. Yeah, as it turns out, that was, I think, to Ohtani's benefit. The rumored amount that he was supposed to be getting from LA was only going to be $50 million a year. But after the story, quote unquote, broke and people started tracking the plane, that bumped his value up to $700 million. So that's, I'm not sure if it was a shenaniganery or clever maneuvering on the part of his agent or what.
well, it sounds to me, come on, it won't stay there. Son of a gun. Oh well, I'll have to work on it when I'm not on the air. So I apologize if I'm not reacting to your. I didn't do it. I didn't bring water. I got overconfident. Okay, let's talk about the Habs on Saturday. Primo stops 46 shots. Canadians beat the Sabres 3-2 in the shootout.
Yeah, one of the teams that's actually been on the rise lately has been Buffalo. Caden Primo actually made a career high 46 saves, and Juraj Slafkovsky, who was supposed to be the Canadians' great savior from a few draft years back, actually scored in the fourth round of the shootout to lead them to a 3-2 win. Primo stopped 2 out of 4 Sabres shooters in the shootout, and Jaden Struble and Nick Suzuki, as well as Juraj Slafkovsky, all scored for the Habs.
Good for them. Let's talk about the Sens and the Red Wings.
Well, there was a bit of a kerfuffle going on in this game. Dylan Larkin was hit from behind. Now the Senators ended up winning that game 5-1. But at the same time that at the same play that Larkin went down after a hit from behind, another one of his teammates, David Perron, was actually given a match penalty for intent to injure for cross-checking Artem Zub, in the belief that he was the one that had run him down. Now there was no penalty given for Larkin getting knocked out from the hit from behind, but David Perron had a hearing in person over Zoom with the NHL player safety, and we'll see what comes of that.
Yeah, that's well, we've seen this kind of behavior, and it's been inconsistently dealt with. The revenge factor, the attack because of a clean hit. Now, ironically, here we're talking about what was more of a dirty hit by interpretation, depending on who you are, right? Mm-hmm. So that kind of reaction, it basically, it's ironic, really, because they don't punish players for being angry about a clean hit, but when it's an illegal hit, they pay. It's something that I guess is okay. I mean, it would be nice if they did it all, straight right through. When players behave in a manner that does not speak to good sportsmanship and or a hockey play, if you will. Mm-hmm. On Sunday, the Predators and the Habs played.
Yeah, Colton Sissons actually scored twice, and they actually managed to hold off the Canadiens, who were making a late push. This is a Canadiens group that has actually come together rather well and have been doing better of late. UC Saros made 36 saves, and Roman Josi pitched in with 2 assists, as well as Colton Sissons' 2 goals. So that's a tidy little package for the Predators.
Perfect. Perfect for them. Let's talk about the Jets.
So this was actually kind of neat. One of those, late minute goals. It was a $1:42 remaining in the third period, and Gabe Vilardi actually managed to break the tie. They had a 4-goal third period, which was actually something I don't think the Jets have done very often. These multi-goal periods seem to be fewer and further between these days. But yeah, it was a nice comeback story for them. Rick Bowness is starting to look more comfortable again behind the bench, and that's glad to see. That's good to see as well.
Absolutely. There is something to be said for the Canadian teams that are half of them are, well, less than half of them are in a playoff spot, 3 out of 7. It'd be better to see it, a little more of the Oilers, who we'll talk about them, or well, let's talk about the Flames first.
Okay. They had a bit of a rough ride, unfortunately. Nico Hischier scored twice for the Devils, and they beat the Flames 4-2 on Saturday. This is the third straight victory for New Jersey and their 6th win in 7 games. Jesper Bratt had a goal and assist. Timo Meier also scored, and Vitek Vanacek made 23 saves to help the Devils improve to 14-10-1 this season. They're one of those teams that does much better on the road than they do at home. They're 9-4-0 on the road.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Then we've got the team that concerns me. This is the team that was ranked very high in being the Canadian team to maybe have the best shot at winning a Stanley Cup, and of course I'm referring to the Oilers. They become from the Oilers, they become the Airlers, committing a too many errors, and it's something that. I don't know. There's a similarity between them and the Leafs, but the Leafs, I think, are a better coached team. And anybody who hasn't realized that yet is foolish. The Leaf organization is very lucky to have the coach they have. If the Oilers had a coach like the Leafs have, now, this is not a 2-year thing that we're talking when we talk about the Leafs coach. This is a duration of time and a consistency as far as in the standings are concerned. Whether it's his fault they don't go anywhere in the playoffs. If you're the Oilers right now, you're worried about making the playoffs. Never mind getting through them. But they're cleaning their act up a bit. They've had a good run a little bit. They're doing a lot better, aren't they?
They are certainly. They're currently on a 7-game win streak. Speaking of cleaning up their act a little bit here, the unfortunate thing is, even with those 7 wins, they're still languishing in the bottom 5th of the league. You mentioned them being similar to the Leafs in that they're very well coached. We also need to remember that Zach Hyman plays for them, former Maple Leaf, Cody Ceci, former Maple Leaf, and also Calvin Pickard, which is kind of neat because Calvin actually picked up his win, a win for them last night when they beat the New Jersey Devils 4-1 on Sunday. This is the first time Pickard's won a game in the NHL since January 28th of 2022 when he was playing with the Detroit Red Wings. This is actually his 4th appearance of the season with the Oilers. He's also played 4 games this season for Bakersfield in the AHL, where they're also trying to rehab former Leafs goalie Jack Campbell. So it'll be interesting to see how all of this plays out. Pickard and Campbell passed each other on the way down, meaning Campbell was on his way down and Pickard came up. So interesting to see how that is all going to play out as well. They may end up with a decent logjam of goalies to work through.
Let me ask you, do you think it's a coincidence that the team in Edmonton has played better since they've demoted Jack Campbell?
That might be part of it. There's also the new coach bump that comes along with getting rid of Jay Woodcroft. There are other factors, but I think part of the issue was that Campbell was brought in to be their superstar, and he wasn't playing like their superstar, which leads to issues because very often they hung him out to dry, and you can't really do that to your goalie.
He's better in the underdog. With the Leafs, whenever he earned less faith, with the fans or the team, he would come up and play well for a while. But his problem was, and Edmonton's getting a heavy dose of it, and that is that when he loses his technique, lacks, loses a little bit of confidence, man, it's hard for him to get back in.
It really is, and it's the being a goalie is just such a highly mental game. If you're not 100% dialed in or 100% on, it's going to be more difficult for you to play. And when your team hangs you out to dry, and all of a sudden there are these major expectations because you've got a whopper of a contract for the next
Mm.
5 years, these things can play into your mental state and how you handle everything. I'm sure Jack is going to get a handle on it sooner rather than later. Um, Hopefully, he'll be able to get that done in short order down in Bakersfield.
If we remember in the playoffs last year, he came up with a couple of really good games. So that it's all about him, addressing somehow. Goaltenders have to be like ducks, right? Water's got to just flow off their back. That you can't dwell. You just can't. As a goaltender, I think that's part of the reason why a lot of goaltenders sometimes are considered kind of, you know, I don't know, different, right? But I think it's because in their position, they really are. They really, really are alone. And the reason they're alone is because they're the last line of defense. And it really the impression we get of a goaltender, I find, and it's kind of not fair. It's not about you know, if you're the best goalie in the league, it's obvious. That's easy. But it's about the fact that every goal that goes in, there's a really good chance you're going to get blamed for it, even if it's not your fault. So that's where the mentality of a goaltender maybe skews a little bit of other positions. Three forwards can look at each other when a guy gets away and the back checking doesn't work. Two defensemen can look at each other. Combinations of forwards and defensemen can look at each other if the puck goes in net and they go, oh, God. But when it comes to a goaltender, he's the guy that's got to take the puck out of the net.
Yeah, at the end of the day, there is a lot that rides on the goalie's shoulders. Um, don't be fooled. While some of us are happy-go-lucky, the best thing that you could possibly have as a goaltender is a short memory. Because yeah, there are days.
You can get buried very easily.
Oh yeah,
Here's a team, the Canucks. When I said about coaching with the Leafs, if Edmonton had a coach like the Leafs, or a coach like now they have in BC, in Vancouver, that organization would have a lot better history than they've had till now. I don't know what it is about the coaching in Vancouver, because dude coaches his first couple of years everywhere he's been has been like a surprise. And then if nothing really good happens, then it gets a little sketchy, right? But right now, Vancouver is one of the best teams in the league. Recently, not so much, but this was the rebuild year, right?
yeah. This was supposed to be the year that everything was being redone. Um, you know, he the coach that they currently have has been around the league. He's been with Colorado, Phoenix, Tampa Bay, Pittsburgh, um, later Arizona. Different iteration of the same team, and now with the Canucks. But of all the years that he's actually coached in the NHL, he's only made the playoffs 7 times. So they're hitching a wagon to a coach that seems to have something kind of going. I mean, his first season in Tampa Bay was disastrous. They were 19-33 with 14 overtime losses back in 2008, 2009. 34-36 with 12 overtime losses in 2009, 2010. And he's been languishing, at sub 500 for a long time. So I'm not exactly sure what kind of culture Rick Tocchet is trying to build. Um, but as long as his players keep scoring, especially Elias Pettersson, and as long as Thatcher Demko keeps standing on his head in order to try to keep the puck out, they may get somewhere. But it's not sustainable.
Yeah, Thatcher Demko, and has been, God, he's a monster in the net in more ways than one. He's huge. There aren't many holes in his goaltending. He really does. They say make big in the goaltender, right? The goal in the goal. Goaltenders have to make themselves big. This guy's naturally big.
It's the same situation with the Leafs. They have a goalie on the Marlies right now by the name of Dennis Hildeby. He's 6'7". Kid is an absolute giant. I mean, he's playing his first season in the AHL. He's got a 935 save percentage, which is absolutely fantastic. Uh, but make big with the goalies is just so true in this particular case.
Absolutely. Not so big, but needing to make himself big. We have Samsonov coming off the, I don't know, he wasn't on the, well, I guess he was kind of on an injured list, right? But they referred to what he was as sick, which sounds like ill, which makes me wonder about what he had. Um, many of us thought maybe, his confidence was in a place it shouldn't be. When the season started, he was not ready. He was not mentally ready, in my opinion. And then they decide to bring him back in. This is because they lose Joseph Wall. And the Leafs probably play one of their best games outside of net.
It's true. From top to bottom, the Leafs actually did play a really solid game. Samsonov's illness, which also kind of bled over to Connor Timmins and to Jake McCabe, they seem to finally be coming all out of that. Austin got 2 goals, which was awesome. Samsonov made 18 saves, and Nashville hit 3 posts. So it was good to see them get an effort like that, especially after losing Wall to a high ankle sprain in Thursday's 4-3 win over Ottawa.
So. He's week to week.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is it's not his groin. I am thankful for that.
And sprains are easier to well, maybe not. The high ankle sprain, I don't know, and it was a scary moment. At first, everybody thought that it was that save that he made, but I think it was the one before, where you could see him pull on his leg, and then he went to make that other save where he came up lame. And I think that's just when he went to make the move. Then that's when he realized he wasn't able to carry on. Well, too bad. As luck would have it, Joseph Wall comes into this season, as a backup. Samsonov, is the guy that the Leafs relied on to be number one. And with every game that Wall played in a row, he got better and better and better and better and going to be the number one. Don't you know, soon as the Leaf world, whether it be Leaf Nation or Leaf Media Nation, everybody thought, well, that's it. They were saying it out loud. Yep, looks like the Leafs have themselves a number one goaltender. Not.
One last quick question before we wrap up here, Frank. John Tavares is 2 points away from 1,000 points. Do you think he gets it tonight versus the Islanders?
Of course. Why wouldn't he get it against the Islanders? It'd be perfect, right? Wouldn't that be the way to look at it?
That would be fantastic.
Now I realized I have a problem now because never mind. let's close this out. All I wanted to say was I lost you on the screen and I haven't gotten you back. I've been trying the whole show, just didn't work. Thanks for doing this, Aaron. Really appreciate it.
Not a problem, Frank. We'll see you Wednesday.
I'm Candid Frank Stanisci. Thank you for watching Candid Frank Live, Aaron, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. This show can also be heard on the Spanglish World Radio Network. For Candid Frank Live, other news, entertainment, and sports programming we offer, please check out SpanglishWorld.ca. Spanglish World. Watch it, hear, read it, download it, and live it. And don't forget, Candid Frank Stanisci on YouTube. Ciao for now.